Well, gamers, a new Trailblazer is finally among us, and while they may be here to cause some commotion and mischief in Penacony, is their kit powerful enough to cause a mix-up in the meta? We'll be taking a look at Sparkle today, doing a head-to-head comparison with the previous Queen of Harmony, Bronya. Thanks so much for being here, gamers. I go by Koobs. Welcome to the video. Hopefully this showcase will help you determine if Sparkle is the next must pull or hard pass. That's so silly. I'm gonna leave that in. We're leaving it in. We're doing it live. All right, our showcase is going to take place here at Memory of Xianzhou Stage 6, and these are level 90 enemies. Our team is going to consist of Jingliu as our main DPS. We have Ruanmei as a awesome supportive unit who is skill point positive, and then we'll be using Bailu as our solo sustainer.
The moon shines on the truth. Eternal.
So it's no surprise that Bronya has been an absolute menace since the game released last April, and many of us are familiar with what she's capable of and what she brings to the party. Doing this comparison, I think, will help kind of highlight the fact that these two units are fairly similar in what they're bringing to the table, and maybe also kind of pinpoint what differences there are between their two kits to help you decide whether or not Sparkle is worth pulling for your account, if it's somebody that you need, or if it would just kind of add maybe a level of redundancy to what you already have going on. You might have noticed that the very first stage with Jingliu and Bronya, very smooth, pretty straightforward. Here in the first phase with Team Sparkle, it's a little bit more clunky in some senses. We had to use a basic attack by Ruanmei there, and if you noticed in Team Bronya, Ruanmei never even took a turn. It was pretty much Jingliu, Bronya action advanced Jingliu forward, and then Jingliu closed out the round. Here we have Sparkle taking her turn. Jingliu doesn't get pulled all the way up. She gets advanced forward, but she's not acting consecutively, which means that our other teammates are going to have turns as well. So Bailu had a turn, Sparkle had a turn, Ruanmei had a turn. There's a little bit of a difference there because in some senses it's a good thing. We're allowed to build some energy from maybe using a skill or a basic attack with those other units that didn't get a turn in the Jingliu and Bronya setup. But as far as ease of clear, Jingliu Bronya for phase 1 was very straightforward, very smooth. So now we are back to Team Bronya. This is stage 2. And things are going to start off with, of course, Jingliu is going to come out of her transcendent form. So now it's our job to get her back into that form, which we need skill points to do. Bronya used her ultimate there, which gave us a skill point because of her light cone, but the battle isn't over, and so we're able to do that. But we can see we're kind of teetering on the edge of having 1 or 2 skill points most of the time here. Even though Jingliu, once she's in her transcendent state, isn't using skill points to do her attacks, she's also not gaining skill points for the team when she does those attacks. So she's not skill point positive in any sense. She's just more so kind of skill point neutral sometimes, sort of, if that makes any sense. But so we're going to find the party running into some issues with skill point management shortly here, and we're going to have to try to figure out how we can navigate these sorts of issues. Bronya uses her skill. We have no skill points now. We're on the edge again, and our team is not looking very good. So thankfully we have Bailu. She's going to be the MVP in this moment. She uses her Resurrect to bring Bronya back from the dead, and then we get a nice heal on Jingliu with 2 bounces, so it puts everybody back in good shape, and then she's going to go ahead and use her ultimate, which is going to give us a little bit of damage mitigation when we do get hit, but at least the party is now in good shape. So we were able to do what we needed to do with our sustainer to help get to the end of what could hopefully be a 2-stage clear for this team.
Eternal.
Run Mei just
Every petal
doing her
and all
job
will be swept away by the wind.
very well. We'll go over the investment in each of these characters towards the end of the video and what sets they're using and things like that, but I was lucky enough to get E1 for my Run Mei, and so she is doing a very good job of just being a boost and a boon to the entire party.
There's more to life.
We have our ultimate charged up for Jingliu, but we're going to go ahead and wait so that we can try to get some big damage. We're going to use our action advance forward. We're going to throw ourselves into the Transcendent State, and then we'll go ahead and use that ultimate.
All will be revealed. In lunar flame.
And 266,000. Pretty nice, not bad there at all. And that is going to go ahead and close out this stage with Team Bronya. Let's go ahead and take a look at Team Sparkle now. So again, we use our attack, we come out of the Transcendent State. Sparkle is going to pull us up, and that's going to move Jingliu up in the turn order, but obviously she's not yanked up to the same extent that Bronya would have. But we have 5 skill points for our team by comparison to 1 or maybe 0 with Team Bronya, and we're in a much more comfortable shape than we were with our previous team. Here we can go ahead and use Bailu's ultimate, and I'm contemplating whether or not I should use Sparkle's ultimate here because I have so many skill points for the team already. The fact that she's going to refresh those skill points, it's like I had a decision to make there whether or not I wanted to just get the damage boost that she offers by using her ultimate, or I could have waited until we actually needed those skill points. But overall, things are going pretty well for this side. Go ahead and do a pretty nice ultimate here with our Jingliu. And 178. Not bad there either. I would say that by far the most noticeable impact that Sparkle had for my team is that she made the run more comfortable. And what I mean by that is that there is a little bit less decision making. There's a little bit less like forethought. So sometimes when you are managing your skill points, you'll kind of look at the turn order. You'll say, okay, I can't use this skill here because I need this skill point for this character who's coming next. So I have to do a basic attack. And if you had made the mistake of using that skill and then you didn't have that skill point for your next character who really needed it, then it would kind of be like, oh no, you made an error. You made a blunder. There was a mistake that was made that was suboptimal, and now it may even jeopardize your run, right? With Sparkle on the team, I didn't run into that. I had plenty of skill points available for Bailu so that she can do her job as a sustainer. I had skill points available for Run Mei when I needed them. Obviously, Jingliu as my DPS had no issues. So I would say that the biggest impact that I felt from Sparkle immediately is that there's this added level of comfort to your clears. Alright, so welcome back to any of you who jumped ahead to the results section. This is really kind of the meat and potatoes of the showcase. This is where we're going to take a look under the hood and identify whether or not Bronya and Sparkle really are as comparable as we might think from the onset. So taking a look at Team Bronya, we have Jingliu making a total of 11 attacks for a total damage of 1,116,219. That turns into a damage per attack of 106,020. And we had a high damage of 266,424. That was when we used our ultimate from the Transcendent State after being action advanced forward by Bronya. Pretty respectable numbers for our damage output here. We'll go ahead and take a look at our comparison with the new Trailblazer Sparkle. So, Team Sparkle, we had Jingliu making a total of 9 attacks. So, already there's a comparison to be made there. 9 attacks compared to 11 attacks with Team Bronya. We had the total damage output, 1,140,554. Now these are very similar in comparison. Of course, the boss has a certain number of health, so our total damage should be about the same. There's only a difference of about maybe 2% in comparison here, so the total damage output is not what's most important, but the main thing that we want to take a look at here is the damage per attack. So for Team Sparkle, our damage per attack was 126,728, which when we compare that to Team Bronya of 106,000, we have roughly 20,000 more damage per attack occurring, which equates to roughly 20% damage increase per attack. Now that's not exactly a 20% damage increase. I don't want it to make it seem like Sparkle does 20% more damage per attack than Bronya in all situations, because that's certainly not necessarily the case. But that's what we've sort of found in this particular showcase of these two setups, is that she dealt roughly 20,000% more damage per attack. She did more damage in fewer attacks with Team Sparkle, and overall had a more comfortable clear, like I mentioned earlier. So, early days, Sparkle's awesome. I would definitely say that she has a really great first impression for me. And even though I didn't necessarily plan to have her on my account, I'm glad that she's here. Although I will say that if you have Bronya and you're a free-to-play player, that you don't necessarily need Sparkle. And that might be something that others may agree or disagree with. I would say that from my perspective, they fill a very similar role for your team. And so if you already have several Harmony units built into, and you have areas on your composition that need filling, say you need a DPS unit or you need a sustainer, that it makes sense to pass on Sparkle if you have Bronya. If you don't have Bronya and you've been waiting for something like that to fill that position in your composition, then she's an awesome addition to your team. And she'll bring a lot of value to just about any account that she's on, as long as they invest in her. And again, that's from a free-to-play standpoint. If you like the character, go for it. Get the character. Get Sparkle because she's awesome and because you like her. But if you have Bronya, they do fill a very similar role, where if you are lacking a sustainer or you're lacking a DPS unit, then maybe it makes sense for you to save up for one of those. Jingliu is the best that I can build her at the time. I know that she doesn't have on a full ice set or a full quantum set, which might be better for her as far as her effectiveness, but she's got on decent pieces, and that's as good as I can build my Jingliu currently. My Ruan Mei, you might have noticed, is E1, and I got very lucky on her banner, and so it's very possible that through this showcase, Ruan Mei is just silently carrying the team on her back, and as we watch the other two sort of compete. Bailu is very straightforward, and is just there to serve the purpose as a sustainer. I personally need better sustainers for my team. That's where my weakness is, for sure. But she did a great job. And so then when we look at the comparison of Bronya and Sparkle, they're both using the same relics, they're both using the same light cone, and they have relatively similar investment when it comes to their traces, being that they have 7 for their talent, 8 for their skill, 8 for their ultimate, and 5 for their basic attack. The main difference being that Sparkle, as you can see, is level 70 compared to Bronya, who is level 80. And so she is missing out on a trace that is going to give 15% attack boost to the whole party, as well as a trace that could give her an extra 10% to her crit damage. And aside from that, they're fairly similar in the build that they're using. Bronya had 200% crit damage here, and Sparkle at 190%. So fairly similar. That's as well built as I could get Sparkle in day one after getting her. without having planned to necessarily get her to my account. Happy accident, if you will. I got her at around like 35 pity when I was just kind of fishing for an E6 Sampo or E4 QQ. So she's great. She's awesome. Is she a must pull? I don't know. That's up to you. I have been and always will be Koobs. Thank you so much for being here, gamers. Hope you got something out of this video. Peace and love to you.